Hi greedy 3Ders, it's been about a month since my review of the consumer version of the Uniformation GK3 Pro and quite a while since the GK3 Ultra landed in the man cave. After a ton of printing on both, I wanted to give you an honest update and bring balance to the force, well, balance to maybe the rough ride that GK3 name has had this year anyway. Well, what's held up, what's changed, and whether after some time and plenty of layers I still recommend these green bees from Uniformation. If you want to find out, stay tuned. Well, over the past month using the GK3 Pro and 10 months with the Ultra, I'm happy and a little surprised to say that both printers have been really solid and reliable machines. I have got to be completely honest, I wasn't expecting this given the rough ride that Uniformation had earlier in the year, but genuinely I've done a load of printing on each machine and both have remained consistent, no major failures, no calibration issues, and both still perfectly level and banging out the prints. Okay, if we look at FEPs, the FEP is starting to show a little bit of wear and tear on the Ultra, which, come on, is expected after this much use, but it still hasn't affected the print quality at all, and it's still actually going strong. Print quality, while we're talking about it, is still excellent on both. The detail is crisp, the surfaces are smooth, and the overall accuracy is exactly what I was seeing from day one. The GK3 Ultra still stands out for me for its speed. It's one of the fastest resin printers that I've used, and considering the scale of the thing, which has a 13.5 inch LCD panel and a 300x160x300 build volume, it truly is a beast. Just look at this base for the wicked Halo model that I've printed, and I've done it in one piece. I've nothing else that comes close to this size, and not having to cut it to print it in multiple parts or glue it, fill it, sand it, etc. at the end is a massive relief and saves a ton of time and mess. And the detail of the final print, well, look here, it's just amazing. It really came out perfectly, and I was using Uniformation's own resins, so settings are already in the slicer, no fiddling with cure times, which again was a blessed relief. The GK3 Pro continues to be a great balance between speed, reliability and precision in a much smaller footprint, of course, as 211x118x240mm. The Pro, unlike the GK3T, has a 385nm light source, and I found that clear resins tend to work really well on it. This alien egg here, printed in Jamjay, clear green resin being proof of note. Just look how the internal details are perfectly formed. Now, I've tried this on other printers and okay, it's printed, but this is by far the cleanest print that I've had on it, with the internal details on a lot of other printers just failing. In terms of the software that you use, you can use the GK slicer, their very own slicer, but for me, everything is still running smoothly on Chitubox. The slicing experience is simple, stable and easy to work with, and over-the-air sending via the file manager just makes that task of getting the files to the printers painless. But you can, if you want, to stick them on a USB and wander out your machines if that's what you want to do. Now, I've tried a few third-party resins on these machines. You mentioned earlier, or you heard me mention, the Jamjay Clear, and they've worked fine after minor exposure adjustments, which of course is easy to do via the built-in RERF test. Now, for those that haven't heard of this, a RERF test, or resin exposure rangefinder test, is a quick way to dial in the perfect exposure time for your resin printer. The RERF test prints several identical models, each with a slightly different exposure time, all on one build plate. Once they're done, you compare them side by side and look for the model with the sharpest details and the smoothest finish. And that's it. That's your ideal setting, which is actually marked on the print itself. Run a RERF test whenever you change resin or tweak your settings. It's the easiest way to avoid failed prints and gets crisp results time after time. Switching between resins has been straightforward too. The resin vat design makes material changes quick and clean, well, as clean as any resin change can be, of course, with no hidden angles or ridges to work around when cleaning out the vats. Odour control has been helped by the built-in carbon filters, although I'm sure the Ultra's filter is well past its sell-by date now, but no worries, spares are freely available at Uniformation's website. But if, like me, you're printing inside a closed environment with no ventilation, then of of course I'd recommend either a TVOC filter or to fit some kind of extraction unit, as any escaping VOCs, that's volatile organic compounds, ideally need to be dealt with. But that's just best practice with any resin 3D printer, and at least the GK3 brothers have carbon filters, which of course helps and is more than most 3D printers can offer. Now, noise levels are low enough that you can comfortably run these printers in small spaces too. The Ultra's fans can get a little bit louder during long prints, but it's nothing excessive, and once the prints are finished, these machines go silent. Unlike other machines I've used where the fans just run and run with no active printing going on, these two green machines kind of say, "We've finished, let's sleep," which is refreshing. And when I went back to these machines the following morning after they'd been running all night, they were deadly quiet. Both the GK3 brothers have a resin delivery system and heated vats, which just makes your life a little bit easier, and both of them are compatible with the Uniformation app that allows you to monitor your prints anywhere there's an internet connection. Of course, not everything is rosy, things never are. Updating firmware on these printers is cumbersome. You have to first find the right updates on the Uniformation website, and for the Ultra, to complicate things, there are two different kinds of choices. It's a long story, but you'll either have the 1204 or the 1205 version. A quick look at your Z-axis will tell you though, so make sure you don't forget this step. Then find and format a USB stick, copy the files, manually install them, unlike my other machines that update wirelessly with a simple click and tell me that when an update is available. Only the Uniformation printers requires this as a manual process, which seems very Neanderthal. It would be great if Uniformation streamlined their update systems, considering they do have Wi-Fi and the option seems to be available in the UI. It just doesn't work. The auto feed resin function is useful, but I found it unreliable on both machines. On the 3 Pro, it's less of an issue since most prints use under 800 mils to complete, but on the Ultra, that 1000 mil limit means auto refill becomes essential for larger jobs. To help avoid problems, I make sure the vat is properly secured, the connectors are clean, the bottle is firmly placed in with the lid open. Still, issues persist, so perhaps Uniformation could improve this feature. Also, don't forget, before you change resin, to manually allow the pump to expel what it has in it. Don't do what I did, swap to a clear resin, then impregnate it with a dark grey resin still in the tube. I learned that lesson well. The UI on both machines is easy to navigate and both screens are intuitive and respond to touches really well. The GK3 Pro, of course, has a tilting screen which makes looking down to this printer easier than ever. After a full month of regular use, I'm still very impressed with the GK3 Pro. It is dependable, it is reliable, it's a beast, and it has not let me down on a print once. Genuinely, not one single failure. The GK3 Ultra 2, I can honestly say, has been a serious workhorse since January 2025. Both have proven themselves to be consistent, reliable and easy to live with. When I tell them to print, they print, and as someone who just wants to print 3D things and not have to mess around with settings, this has made my life a darn sight easier. So yes, 1 month later and 11 months later, I still fully recommend both of these printers. They've held up great, the print quality hasn't dropped off, and they've been an absolute pleasure to use. That is my 1 month update on the GK3 Pro and the 11-month update on the GK3 Ultra. If you've been using either of these machines, I would love to hear about your experiences, good and bad. Let the public know. If you like what you see on the channel, please subscribe. Please think about joining our Greedy 3D Patreon, and thank you to my Patreons. You guys are absolutely amazing. I think I just wanted to bring, like I said at the start, a little bit of balance to the force with these two printers. They've had a bit of a rough ride, but my experience with them has been genuinely awesome. And I'm not saying that this isn't a sponsored video. This is my honest and truthful 11 and 1 month update for you guys. But please let me know how you guys are getting on with yours. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Greedy 3D.